Hi, so in this video, we're still working on the worksheet from chapter 2, section 3. We're adding and subtracting fractions. And we've moved to the part of the work where we'll be working with mixed numbers. So we have here problem number 12. And note in problem 12 that the denominators, that you have two mixed numbers and the fraction part of each number has a denominator of 11. So we already have a common denominator. They're like fractions. And so in this problem, we're going to add the fraction piece. The denominator is 11 and the numerator is 8 plus 8. And we're going to add the 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay, so let's write this here as 8 and 16 over 11. Notice that the fraction piece now is improper because the numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator, okay? And so what we'll want to do is convert the fraction piece to a mixed number and then combine the two integer pieces. All right, so I'm looking at 16 over 11, which is equal to 11 into 16. And we got 1. So 16 over 11 is 1 and 5/11. So I'm going to rewrite that. Because when we have here the whole number piece, it's really being added to the fraction piece in the mixed number. Okay, so it's 8 and 16 over 11. So we're rewriting it like this. We're going to cluster the or group the whole number pieces. And so we get 9 and 5/11 as the final answer. We have to check, is 5/11 in its lowest terms? Yes, 5 and 11 are both prime, and there's no simplification that we have to offer. So we're going to circle it as our final answer. Okay, let's move over to problem number 13. We have 3 fractions. They're all mixed numbers, and they all of the fraction components have the same denominator, 9. So we're going to do the same thing that we did over there. We're going to add the ninths, and we get 1, 2, and 8 is 10. And over here, 17 and 3 is 20, plus 4 is 24. So again, I have one of these weird sort of mixed numbers, but the fraction part is improper, and so we're going to have to convert. So converting 10 ninths to 1 and 1/9, 9 goes into 10 one time, and there's 1 left over. And then grouping the 24 and the 1, we get 25 and 1/9. Checking to see if 1/9 is in lowest terms, and it is. We circle our answer. Okay, so if you can please pause the video, complete problems 14 and 15 on the worksheet, and then press play. So thanks for pressing play. We're going to go over problems number 16 and 17, and we're adding these improper fractions. And the first thing we note is that when we look at the denominators, we see that they're not the same. So we're going to have to find a common denominator. And we have those 3 options that we had gone through in the beginning of the worksheet, right? So are they related? Does 3 go into 5 evenly? No. Are they relatively prime? Yes. 3 and 5 have no common prime numbers. Common prime factors. And so when the denominators are relatively prime, the common denominator is the product of the 2. So in this case, my common denominator is 15. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to convert. We're going to convert the 2/3 and the 1/5 to something over 15. Okay, and note when we're going to be multiplying here by some factor of 1, by some version of 1, excuse me. So 3 goes into 15 5 times. So we're going to multiply 2/3 by 5/5. And then we see here that 5 goes into 15 3 times. So we're going to multiply by 3/3. And this is going to give us our common denominators. And this multiplication gives us 10. 2 times 5 is 10. And 1 times 3 is 3. All right. So now bring along the addition sign. So now we're going to add straight down. We're going to add the whole numbers, and we're going to add the fractions. We'll start with the fraction piece. You can start any place you want. So 10 plus 3, 13. And over here, adding 14 and 18. So I end up with 32 and 13/15. I need to see, is 13/15 in its lowest terms? It is, because 13 is actually a prime number, so we can't reduce it. And then we circle it as our final answer. All right, let's go over to this problem over here. Oh, one other thing we should have checked about this is not only is it in its lowest terms, but the first thing we should ask is it improper? So is 13/15 improper? If so, we have to convert like we did in the in problem 12 or 13. Okay, and in this case, it is not improper, so we're all set. It's both not improper and in lowest terms. So those are the 2 checkpoints we need to think about before we circle the final answer. Okay, let's go over here. We have denominators that are not the same. So I'm just going to check that I have the right problem statement here. I have the wrong problem on the board. So 17 is 6 2/3. And plus 3 7/15. Okay, I think we're in the right place now. So notice that the denominator, that we have improper fractions, we're adding, the denominators are not equal. So then the first question is, are they related? Does 3 go evenly into 15? And it does. It goes in 5 times. So when we have related denominators, our common denominator is the larger number. So we'll bring it over. Okay, so we bring over the integer, the whole number piece, and then also the denominators. Now we need to convert. One of them we don't have to convert, right? The one with the 15 in the denominator, but this one we have to multiply. 3 goes into 15 5 times, so multiplying numerator and denominator by 5/5, we end up here with 10/15. Okay, so now we have mixed numbers with common denominators. We're going to add down 9 for the whole number piece. And the numerator here is going to be 10 plus 7 or 17. So we go through the 2 questions. Is the fraction piece improper? And the answer here is yes. So we're going to re-express the fraction piece as a mixed number and combine the whole number pieces. And then the second question will be, is the resulting fraction in lowest terms? So we'll start with this. 17/15 is 1 2/15. And now we combine 10 and we get 10 2/15. Is 2/15 in lowest terms? It is. Whenever you recognize a prime number as one of the numerator or denominator, then you know you can't reduce it anymore. So in this case, 2 is a prime number, you can't reduce it anymore. So we'll go ahead and circle it. All right. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video, complete questions 18 and 19, and press play. As always, call me for help if you have a question while you're doing that work. Hi, so we're going to work on problem 20 and 21, and these are about subtracting mixed numbers or whole numbers, a mixed number from a whole number. So working with subtracting different kinds of numbers. Okay, so we see here in problem number 20, we have 11 minus 7 and 1/7. Okay. And so what we're going to want to do is subtract the whole numbers and subtract the fractions, but we don't have a fraction next to 11, right? So what we'll do is we actually can write it in as 0/7. Okay, so how many sevenths are there? None. So now we want to subtract is we want to say 0 minus 1, but we can't take 1 away from 0 because 1 is bigger than 0. So we're going to actually have to borrow, just like what we did when we were originally looking at subtraction of whole numbers. But this time we're going to borrow 1 from the 11. Okay, so if you want to think about the pans of brownies, right? So we have 11 whole pounds of brownies. And we need to take away from it 7 whole pans of brownies and 1/7. So what I have to do is, in order to get the 1/7, I'm going to actually have to take one of those pans and break it up into 7 pieces. So I'm going to rewrite 11 as 10 and 7/7. Okay, and why did I choose 7? Because that is the denominator in the problem. So I borrowed 1 from the 11, so I decreased the 11 to 10, and I took that pan of brownies and I cut it up into 7 pieces. Okay, so it's like borrowing subtraction. Now I can subtract down 7. I have the denominator is 7, 7 minus 1 is 6, 10 minus 7 is 3. Okay, got to ask the same questions. Is it improper? No. Is it in lowest terms? Yes. Note that 7 is a prime number, so there's no reduction. So now we're allowed to circle the answer. Okay, I'm just going to check it and make sure we got the right answer. I realize I should be doing that. 3 6/7 is the correct answer. Good. Okay, so now we're going to work on problem number 21. And we want to, again, we're subtracting. And we're going to subtract fractions from fractions and whole numbers from whole numbers. This guy has no fraction. We could do the same thing we did over here. We could say you have no ninths. And that's going to work for us, okay? So now when we go to subtract, we can subtract. We have the denominator of 9. The subtraction is 8 minus 0 for the fraction piece. And for the whole numbers, 12 minus 3 is 9. All right, now check in with your fractional component. Is it improper? No, so we're all set. Is it in lowest terms? Yes, because 8 has the only prime numbers in 8 are 2. 2 times 2 times 2, and the prime numbers in 9 are 3. 3 times 3, so they have no common factor. We cannot reduce it, so we circle it. Okay, so if you can, pause the video, complete numbers 22 and 23, and then press play. We're almost done. Hi, so we have one more fraction I want to show you on the video, and then you'll wrap up on your own. So, this is number 24. I'm just going to fix the lights. You'll go ahead and look at that problem and see, are we in a situation where we have a common denominator? So a mixed number minus a proper fraction, the denominator is not common. Question number 1 is, are they related? And 8 goes into 16 an even number of times. So they are related, and look ahead and we'll see that the common denominator is the larger denominator. So the second one does not need to be converted, but the first one, you have to multiply. 8 goes into 16 2 times. You can multiply by 2 over 2, and we get 19 1/8 is equal to 19 2/16. And now we have to subtract. So the denominator is going to be 16, but look what happened. We cannot take 10 from 2, so we need to borrow. And that's going to be, we're going to borrow 1. We're going to borrow it in the terms of 16s, right? So I'm going to take this over here just for a minute. I'll just take it across. So we're going to take one of these and write it as 16 over 16. And we're going to add that to 2 over 16. Okay. And that's going to equal 18 and 18 over 16. So this problem really lays out in a very wide manner, but I really think that we recommend that you use a similar layout when you do your mixed number problems, okay? And we're going to subtract from that 10 over 16. So we're all set now. We have a common denominator, and this number here is larger. The numerator in the first number is larger than the numerator in the second fraction. Okay, so the common denominator is 16. Subtracting 18 minus 10 is 8. And this guy, 18 minus, this is actually a 0, right? So there's no whole number, so 18 minus 0, and we get 18. All right. Checking in on the fraction component. Is it improper? It is not. Is it in lowest terms? It is not. We need to reduce it. So we see that 8 over 16, there's a common factor of 8. So 8 goes into 8 one time, and 8 goes into 16 2 times. So the final answer is 18 and a half. All right. So we're all done with the video. Complete problem number 25. Let me know if you have any questions.